AJ here, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to make some tomato gazpacho. What's gazpacho? It's soup, but it's cold. But don't click away. It's actually a good soup. Gazpacho is like kind of a bougie, old school soup, traditionally made tomato. There's lots of flavors, and so we're gonna do this. This is a really cool basic recipe that doesn't require a lot of skill, doesn't require a lot of time, but we're gonna take a little extra time, put a little more love in it, and make a very delicious gazpacho. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around. It's gonna be vegan, it's gonna be gluten full, but you can make it gluten free, there's a version, and it's gonna be delicious. So let's get into your very own tomato gazpacho. Alrighty, so step one is we're going to boil a pot of water because since this is such an easy recipe. Day-old bread, which by the way, if you want to make some day-old bread, I have a video popping up somewhere where I show you how to make very easy, no-knead bread. This bread is actually from that video. If you don't want to make bread, go to a bakery and buy some day-old bread, or buy some fresh bread and let it get old. All these methods will work. So we're gonna grab some tomatoes, some day-old bread, some red onion, some olive oil, some cherry vinegar, a red bell pepper, some salt, olive oil, and a couple things to garnish it. I'm gonna put the full recipe down below if that's something you're interested in. And because this is such a simple recipe, we're gonna give it a little bit more love than I think a lot of people would give a recipe like this. So we're gonna take these tomatoes, and we're taking around 1 kilogram of tomatoes, which is around 7 to 8 tomatoes, okay? And you wanna use Roma or Plum tomatoes for this. And so what we're gonna do to give this soup some love is we're actually going to blanch these so that we can peel the skins off, and we're gonna seed them so that these we're really just getting the meaty, flavorful part of the tomato. We wanna cut little squares on the bottom part of, or little crosses on the bottom part of each one of these tomatoes. You can see I kind of already started on some of these, but our goal is we're trying to leave some room in there for the water to get in there so that when we throw it in the boiling water, it easily peels off. You'll kind of see that it starts to kind of peel off by itself. Which is what we want. And meanwhile, I have a giant pot of water boiling, and I have a bowl with ice water in it, and that's what we're gonna use to quickly cool them so that these don't cook too much, because this is almost a raw soup. I would say it is a raw soup, actually. So now we are going to throw them in the boiling water. They are gonna hang out in there for 10 to 20 seconds, and then you're gonna quickly blanch them into a ice bath, and then you're going to transfer them to a separate bowl or plate to kind of dry off a little bit. And then I'll meet you back here when we start seeding, cutting, chopping this stuff. All right, so we have our tomatoes. So we're going to take these, and you're just going to kind of peel them by hand, and this is going to kind of be the garbage bowl. And so you just want to kind of peel these off. It should just kind of come off. You should barely need to use a knife. So we're just going to peel these, and you'll notice they look awesome, and it's going to start to smell pretty good because, you know, it's not cooked, but it did get a little bit of something from the roasting in there, or the boiling in there. All right, so now you're going to have this tomato where it's just kind of like peeled. From here, what we want to do is we're going to take a chef's knife, right? And we're going to kind of cut them in quarters. Now you could follow the little crosses that you cut on there in the beginning, or you can just kind of freestyle. So we're going to cut them into quarters just like such so that we can easily de-seed them. So we want to kind of get this middle part out. And could you skip this step? Sure, you could, but we're already making a very easy soup. We might as well put some attention into it. So you're just gonna nice and easy, don't ever cut towards your hand either, always cut away. We're gonna nice and easy cut through here and get these seeds out. And so you can see we've got these nice little pieces. All right, so once you've gotten the little seed parts off, you're gonna have this fleshy part left. All you wanna do is dice this into basically the size of a crouton, because that's what our day-old bread size is. So you want all this kind of the same size so that it grinds up uniformly. So I'm gonna cut these into like a nice rough chop, something crouton sized. And it doesn't have to be super, super fine or anything like that. You just want it close to what your day-old bread pieces are in. So mine are shaped into croutons because I thought I might make soup. I'm just making a cold soup. And you're just pushing them off to the side. All right, so I'm gonna finish chopping these tomatoes and I'll see you at the next part. All right, so we've done pretty much the hardest part of it, was de-seeding and cutting up these tomato pieces. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut up the rest of the veggies. All right, so you want about half of a cucumber. We're gonna peel this because we're all about peeling. Do you have to peel any of this? Technically no, but we're not adding any water or veggie stock or anything to this. So like, we really don't want that much thick, gritty things in it because we're already putting the bread in there, which will make it creamy. It's not gonna make it gritty, but we probably want these to not add any extra unnecessary fiber. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this cucumber, half of a cucumber, and you're gonna do about half of a red bell pepper as well. And you guessed it, we're gonna peel this too. So we're gonna go ahead and peel both of these, and then we're pretty much ready to start mixing these ingredients together. So I'm gonna go ahead and start peeling this, and I'll see you when it's time to mush it all together. Alrighty, so we have our cucumber chopped and peeled, our red pepper chopped and peeled. So we've got all the tough veggies cut. Next, what we're gonna do is we're going to bust out our blender and start bringing this together. So we're going to use the tomato, the cucumber, the pepper. We're also gonna throw in some day-old bread. And like I said, if you want a day-old bread recipe, click wherever, and we have one. We're gonna do about half of a red onion as well. We're gonna do about, it's like right over a quarter of a cup of olive oil. And then we've of course got some sherry vinegar and salt that we're gonna throw in there. So let me grab my blender. All right, so let's grab these veggies. We're gonna throw them in there. We're gonna start with the tomatoes because there's a bunch of water in it, as well as the cucumber, so that we can kind of build the base of the soup. So we're gonna throw all the peppers, all the onions, all the cucumbers in there first, because that's gotta kind of make the liquid part of this soup. Otherwise, you're just gonna have a tomato paste, which sounds awesome, it's very useful, but not if your goal is to have soup, specifically gazpacho. You know what I'm saying? Our half of a red onion right on top, about half a cup of stale bread, quarter of a cup of olive oil right along the top there. Alrighty, last thing, we're gonna throw 2 tablespoons of sherry vinegar. This could also be a red wine vinegar. Alrighty, and we're gonna put the top on. Get this on top of your strong blender, and then we are just going to blend this thing on high until it's nice and pureed. And then we're gonna salt it a little bit just to make sure, but we always wanna do it after this is all mixed. So let's do it. All right, that smells really good, actually. So let's have a little taste test. I haven't added salt yet, so definitely need salt, but let me just taste it real quick. Weirdly delicious. I am gonna throw that little bit of salt in there, and I think I'm gonna blend it for just a little bit longer, just so that it gets all nice and broken down. Weirdly delicious. Okay, so I'm going to throw this in a bowl, throw it in the fridge, let it chill, and in an hour we will give this a taste. So we did it. We made some gazpacho. You can see it here. I'm gonna have to do a close-up on it so you can really see, but it looks pretty cool. It's like orangey, it's creamy. It kind of leaves a lot of room for you to kind of decorate it and stuff. So I put some like cucumber batons, some finely diced red pepper, onion, pumpkin seed, some cherry tomatoes, and some dill and red pepper flakes. So you could obviously add whatever you want. I'll put what I did for mine. That's the one that looks really good to you. But yeah, it looks pretty cute. So I would normally have my magical, wonderful fairy wife come in, but she is unavailable at the moment. So I'm gonna have the pleasure of tasting this myself. So let's do it. Yeah, that's really good. Wow. It's light, weirdly. You would think like cold bread soup. Like that's what, when I looked at the recipe, I was like, cold bread soup, okay, pretty good. I think it could use a little bit of heat personally. So I did add the red pepper flakes on there, but I think just a little bit of heat and maybe even a squeeze of lemon. So if I'm JD, let me think, how would I do this? I'd go, oh, hello, you caught me. You wanna come try this? I was gonna do a whole reenactment where I was you. I didn't have it planned, it just came to me.
Wow, smells fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would want is a little bit of spicy, either some like black pepper on top or more red pepper flakes. You like it how it is? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing at me?
Because that's just always what you want, is spicy all the time,
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking gazpacho is usually meant to be cooling.
It is cooling.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing and cooling and light.
Yeah.
So
it is.
what are you gonna give it? I'm gonna put behind my back what I thought you were gonna give it, and then I will turn it around.
An 8 out of 10.
I was gonna give it an 8.5.
Nice.
And honestly, it was an 8 before, but after seeing you eat it and like, I'm like, maybe I should give it an 8.5.
I thought about it too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
Yeah, the taste is very good.
And it's very like, it's nice and cute. It's like a nice thing you could have as like a appetizer for your meal.
Yeah.
Makes you feel fancy, and it's super, super easy.
Yes, and I will say that when you said you were gonna make it, I was worried that it was just gonna taste like salsa.
Yes.
It doesn't.
Mm-mm.
It tastes like a soup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It weirdly works.
Yeah.
And I had heard that about adding bread to soups before, but because there's bread in this.
Oh.
Did you know that?
No.
Well, that's a
I
plus.
don't know the recipe.
Yeah, there's bread in the soup to make
Okay.
it creamy, which is people often do that
In gazpacho?
in all types of soups.
Oh.
And so, but you can sub quinoa for it if you
Okay.
don't want gluten. This is the leftover bread, so I'm like, we're not wasting.
Yeah, that's great.
It's wonderful. And it's gonna taste better and better the longer it sits in your fridge. It's probably lasting there for up to a week. So here we thought we weren't gonna see her. So there it is. We made some tomato gazpacho. I thought it was pretty good, nice, light, refreshing. And so if this is something you end up trying, maybe tag me at HeyAJ Comment down below what kind of soups you like. If you like cold bread soup, I wanna hear about it. And if you never wanna miss another one of these videos, maybe subscribe and hit the bell. Thank you so much for giving me your energy and attention. I hope you feel I truly earned it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. It is good. It tastes bougie.